Hi guys, how are we doing? It's Coach John here and welcome to this week's Whiteboard Wednesday. We're going to focus to this series on looking at how to set up your program to get the most out of your training and looking at each individual factor here. So looking at the key principles around it. We'll go on next, we'll look at some energy systems and then we'll look at how you set up your training week. Okay, so starting off with key principles, I see a lot of people online discussing like, the best way to train. Is it body weight only? Is it heavy weights more of a strongman or powerlifting type training program? Do you do more miles like runners would be doing in the traditional program, or what swimmers would be doing in the pool just to get those miles in and develop an aerobic engine? So there's a lot of different methods out there, okay, and I could really delve deep into them, but I think Ralph Emerson would say this best. Okay guys, so Emerson said it best there. Methods are many, but principles are few. So once we outline some of the principles here, you can generally choose the methods that are going to suit you best to achieve your training goals. So that could be based upon what equipment you got available, how often you're able to train, and where you're at currently with your training. So are you a brand new beginner, or are you someone who's a bit more experienced with regards to training? So we're going to look here at each key principle and talk about that in a little bit more depth, okay? So for the first principle, the first one we're going to look at here is overload. And what does that simply mean? It just means doing more than what you're currently used to. So if you currently run a 10-minute mile and you always run the 10-minute mile, your body will adapt to that pace and that time. So in order to overload it, you have to run a little bit faster. So that could be a 9-minute 30 mile or a 9-minute flat mile. So it's constantly just pushing your body that a little bit harder. It could be an extra rep on an exercise you're doing. So if you typically do 5-6 reps in the squat, it could be going up to 8 or 10 or 12 reps on that. Okay, so you're pushing your body a little bit harder, or it could be just cutting down your rest periods within that. So obviously we're going to have this new effect, so therefore your body is constantly on the upward scale getting better. Next one is progression. So progression is just once again going from basics and slowly building up to something that's more demanding from there. So you're taking point, your press up would be your basic exercise. Your way you could progress would be either wearing a weighted backpack or having your feet elevated so you're handling more of your body weight for your upper body. Likewise, if we're looking at something like a squat, once you've learned how to do a body weight squat, you move on, your progression could be a goblet squat, so you're starting to get used to external load and building your way up from the goblet into like a zercher or overhead squat, and then finally into a heavy back squat. Okay? So it's just going from the basic and slowly getting better up and through that pathway there. Okay. Next phase is specific. So how specific can your training be? Obviously the skill you're trying to get better at is the most specific thing you can do. So if you are trying to get better at tabbing or rock marching, going out and practicing that is going to help you get better at that if you've never done it before. But we're also going to look at the underlying qualities within that. Okay, so if you need a larger aerobic engine, so it's not exactly doing the rock marching as a whole, but what's going to drive it. So being more aerobically fit for a long period of time. So we need to go out and raise that aerobic level within you as well, okay? It could also be, say you want to sprint faster. Other than sprinting, you can use things like weighted sled within that, which is going to be a little bit more specific to sprinting, or things like your plyometrics, where your contact time is a bit similar to what your sprint contact time for each foot contact is going to be, okay? Next one we're going to look at here is just the detraining effect or reversibility. So always keep in mind that as soon as you stop training, after roughly 72 hours to beyond, your body's going to start to regress, especially when it comes to the more higher motor unit things such as speed and power exercises. They're going to be the first ones to go. Things like your maximal strength and your aerobic condition is going to last a lot longer, okay, before you start to see that detraining effect kick in. So even if you can't keep up your training to the same level, if you can keep things intense and short, I'll keep those spikes in there as well. So say you're on a deployment or you're off on a long break or whatever, just things like that to keep in mind with it, okay? And finally, the final point here is just on balance. Now, if you're training for a specific sport, it's got different requirements, so it's not always going to be properly balanced, okay? So take a case in point, powerlifter, you need to be maximally strong, but your aerobic capacity doesn't need to be as high as, say, what a runner would be, okay? Because it's all about being fit for purpose. But when we're talking in regards to tactical athletes yourselves, we generally want you to be quite balanced. We want you to be large capacity of maximal strength as well as relative strength, I want you to have some good flexibility in there as well to stave off injury, as well as being aerobically and anaerobically fit, and having some good speed qualities and as well, so you can cover distance quickly. Now, it's not to mean all these need to be at the exact same level, but it's within, 10-20% of each other within that sort of scale as well, because we don't want you to be the guy who can squat 300 kilos, but you can't run a mile without gassing. Okay? It's just not applicable to your career choice. Okay? So just things to think about around there. Okay? So this is phase one, guys, and then we're going to go next. We're going to have a look about energy systems and some of the faults people guys typically do around setting up the energy system programming and the work to rest periods and how some guys can get that mixed up. Okay. So thank you very much for listening today, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please click subscribe and like the video, and please pass on to any of your friends. Thank you very much. I'll see you guys next week.